Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy and foulmate Dontie X, the host of Conscious Money Talks. So what we're gonna do today, I'm gonna make a basic gel meal. So the first thing I'm gonna do is introduce you guys to the stuff that I bought today at Walmart. I have an onion here. I have a bell pepper. I have a beef summer sausage. I have some butter, some boiled bag rice. Please don't judge me. I would have made regular rice and go through the whole process, but it's a longer process and it could be difficult if you don't know how to measure the water correctly. But bag rice, all you do is just dump it in some boiling water and that's that. So we're gonna do that. Have some brown sugar. We have some regular sugar. Salt, pepper, adobo. This is like an essential seasoning in prison. Have some oregano. Sazon, another basic seasoning that you have to have in prison. We have some Mrs. Dash. Basic vegetarian beans, pretty good, pretty healthy. So the first thing I'm gonna do is cut up my onion. Now, being that I want to save this onion for another day, this is what I usually do when I was incarcerated to save the onion. If you cut it this way or you cut it open, you expose the core of the onion to the air, also to whatever germs and bacteria that it have. But the outer part of the onion protects it from exposure. So what you want to do is just peel off the hard part or the shell part here. So now, with the onion, I don't want to cut into it too deeply. A very helpful technique is to only cut into some of the onion, the parts that I tend to use, right? Like this. Cut deep into it, not too deep, right? And then you just cut in an angle here, right? And then you just take this piece off like that. See that? See, now what happens is I'm just taking a layer off, a bit of a layer, and I take off the rest of this layer, and then I'll cut it up. But it leaves this layer right here, the outer part of this layer is still intact to protect the core of the onion. Just like that. Very simple. So I'm gonna set this aside. So now I'm gonna cut these onions. Now usually when I cut my onions, I like to cut them lengthwise. I don't cut them into chunks. I like to cut them into strips. So here we go. The onions shredded up nice. So next thing I'm going to do is cut up my bell pepper, rinse it off. The way that the food looks to me is just as important as the taste. So, I cut the bell pepper up lengthwise along with the onion, because when you garnish the food, even in prison you garnish food because take pride in your skill. Even while incarcerated, men that know how to cook, it's pride. It's a pride thing, especially in prison. You don't have much dignity beyond cooking and the things that you're really good at that you still can hold on to, that they can't take from you. Get rid of some of those seeds. Yeah, so I'm gonna cut more of the bell pepper, another third. I'll put the rest in the bag that I took it out of, and I will save that along with the onion. Now I have my bell peppers cut, I have my onions cut. So I'm gonna set those aside for when I'm ready to use those. Okay, Now my water is boiling. Like I said, I'm only using boiling bag rice. Very simple. But because I want to have the rice yellowed, I'm going to take some sassoons. See, it has that nice orangish, yellowish tint to it. It's because of a particular spice in there which they use to make yellow rice, but it's a really good spice though. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some of this to the water. In fact, I'm gonna take this off to make it easier, right? So not only is it gonna yellow the rice, it's also going to flavor the rice. Flavor the rice. So we're gonna just drop the rice in there, stir it a little bit. Drop the rice right in here, like so. Nothing to it, presto. Now, show you guys right quick. Make sure it's not too hot for me to grab. Get my trusty rag here, so I can show you guys. All right, you see that? See that? So up there. So what we're gonna do is cut maybe about a half of summer sausage. Think about half would be good. Remove that out the pack. Save it for another day to make another meal with that. Okay, summer sausage. I'm just gonna cut this up like so. Cut this into like quarters. The boiled bag rice cooks very quick. So I'm gonna just put it in this little thing here after I drain it a little bit. See how nice and yellow the rice is? Sausages, I cut them up in quarters. So I'm gonna set that aside. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna saute the onions and the peppers, and then I'm going to mix in the meat. I'm gonna cook these things up. I'm going to, you can use olive oil. You can use butter. So I'm gonna use this. It's margarine. 50% vegetable oil. So I'm gonna use this. Put this in here. And I am about to saute, cook down some onions and peppers. So what we're gonna do here is what I usually do. I cook up my onions. I love the smell of onions when they're cooking. Put some of that in there. Along with some sassoon, excuse me, little sneeze. Mrs. Dash is a very strong seasoning. Put some sassoon in there. It's gonna give it flavoring and color. Here's some adobo. Smell is great, awesome. So the onions are gonna cook down. Now one of the things that I learned while cooking is how to cook with sugar. Some people don't like it, but I do. I don't cook with a lot of sugar, but sugar kind of offsets the acidity of food. So I'm just gonna use a little bit of this because I'm gonna use sugar in my my bean sauce. Okay, see, cooking that up. So the aroma in here right now is awesome. Like it smells so great, and this is just from the onions cooking down. Now I'm about to mix in the summer sausage. And that's gonna cook down, give it even more flavoring. And when you guys see when this is done, you guys are gonna look at this meal. You're gonna be like, wow, it looks really flavorful. And it is. It's one thing about me and cooking. I've been told many times when I was a chef up north. Yeah, I was a chef up north. But I ain't get left up north. But I've been told many times that my food, you could really taste my food. Some people have, they're not really good at bringing out the flavoring. So we're gonna let that cook down, and of course, movie magic. By the time you come back, that will be done. Got a nice color to it, so I want to show you guys the coloring. Really nice color. All right, real nice color, right? Good flavor. So I'm about to make my signature bean sauce. So with my signature bean sauce, what I usually do is I use the margarine, the butter, and that's gonna give it the flavoring. It's gonna be the base, right? To give it some extra flavoring, right? So this is where the brown sugar comes in. So we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Gonna give it that flavoring, give it that kick along with the margarine, the butter that's in there. Oh man, it's gonna. So warm that up. Then I'm gonna give you guys some movie magic, and you guys are gonna get to see this great plate of food. So here's my finished product. How does it look, guys? Does it look like something that you would eat?